Imagine you are standing in the middle of a bustling rainforest, surrounded by numerous life forms. From minuscule ants to towering trees, from vibrant birds to elusive creatures, you are enveloped in a realm of unmatched biodiversity. Ever pondered how scientists decipher this complex life? How do we classify the myriad species on Earth? Welcome to the intriguing realm of biological classification, a process that lets us comprehend the intricate interconnections between all life forms. In this video, we will traverse through time, delving into the evolution of classification systems, from the primitive two-kingdom model to the current nuanced understanding. Get ready for an unforgettable exploration of the rich tapestry of life on Earth. Ever wondered how we managed to categorize the vast array of living organisms on our planet? This is possible due to a classification system. It all began with Carl Linnaeus in 1735. He divided the living world into Vegetabilia and Animalia. This was a significant initial step in creating order from the natural. Moreover, Linnaeus introduced the binomial system, a two-part Latin naming system for each species. This marked the beginning of a structured approach to understanding the diversity of life on Earth. Linnaeus's contributions revolutionized the way we see our biological world today. Linnaeus also invented the binomial system of nomenclature, a two-part naming system that uses Latin names to designate each species. Fast forward to 1866, and we meet Ernst Haeckel. Haeckel bravely added a twist to Linnaeus's model. He introduced a third kingdom, Protista. This gave unique organisms a home. This inclusion of Protista allowed for the classification of organisms that didn't quite fit into the plant or animal categories. In 1925, Edward Chatton categorized organisms into prokaryotes, devoid of a defined nucleus, and eukaryotes, possessing a defined nucleus. This refined the classification system. The four-kingdom model was introduced by Herbert F. Copeland in 1938. He categorized life into Monera, Protista, plants, and animals, adding a fresh layer of complexity. This system highlighted the basic disparities between these groups. The story of classification reaches a critical point in 1969 with Robert Harding Whittaker. He proposed a five-kingdom system, introducing Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. This system revolutionized our understanding of the biological world. He based the classification on factors like cell structure, organism complexity, nutrition mode, lifestyle, and phylogenetic relationship. Next time you observe a bird, a tree, or a mushroom, remember, each holds a special place in biology due to centuries of scientific work. These things have been categorized in a system that has evolved over. And just as our understanding of life evolves, so too do our classification methods. More light on Earth's complex web of life.
Ever pondered about how the vast array of living organisms on our planet are classified? The answer lies in the work of an American ecologist, Robert Harding Whittaker. Born in the year 1920 and active until his passing in 1980, Whittaker made a significant contribution to our understanding of the natural world. In the year 1969, he proposed a system that divided all living organisms into 5 distinct groups. To achieve this intricate classification, Whittaker considered several criteria, providing a comprehensive and systematic way to categorize life on Earth. His criteria were as follows. First, he looked at the complexity of the cell structure. Here, he differentiated between organisms with prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are simpler and lack a nucleus, while eukaryotic cells are more complex, with a defined nucleus and other cellular structures. Second, he considered the complexity of the organisms themselves. He separated them into 2 categories, unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular organisms consist of a single cell, while multicellular organisms are made up of many cells. Third, Whittaker took into account the mode of nutrition for different organisms. Plants, which are autotrophic and photosynthetic, make their own food using sunlight. Fungi, on the other hand, are saprophytic and absorb nutrients from dead organisms. Animals, contrastingly, are heterotrophic and ingestive, meaning they need to consume other organisms for sustenance. Fourth, he looked at the lifestyle of the organisms. Plants are producers, creating their own food and serving as the base of the food chain. Animals are consumers, relying on other organisms for food. Fungi act as decomposers, breaking down dead material and recycling nutrients back into the ecosystem. Finally, Whitaker considered the phylogenetic relationship among organisms, tracing the evolution from prokaryotic to eukaryotic, and from unicellular to multicellular. In summary, Whitaker's classification of living organisms into 5 groups was based on the complexity of cell structure, the complexity of the organisms, their mode of nutrition, lifestyle, and their phylogenetic relationships. His work has provided a comprehensive framework for understanding the vast diversity of life on our planet, underscoring the intricate relationships and dependencies among different organisms. So the next time you marvel at the natural world, remember the insightful work of Robert Harding Whitaker and his profound contribution to our understanding of life's splendid diversity.
Ever wondered what's in a drop of curd or buttermilk? Well, those little drops are teeming with life. Tiny microscopic life forms that belong to the Monera kingdom. The Monera kingdom is one of the 5 major classifications of organisms, and it's populated by some of the most ancient and fundamental life forms on Earth. These include all types of bacteria and blue-green algae. And while they may appear simple, these organisms are anything but. These little powerhouses are all unicellular, meaning that each individual organism is composed of a single cell. Now, despite being unicellular, these organisms are incredibly diverse. Some are autotrophic, meaning they produce their own food, usually through photosynthesis. Others are heterotrophic, obtaining their nutrition from the environment around them. Now, in terms of their cellular structure, these organisms are prokaryotic. This means they lack a distinct enclosed nucleus and other specialized cell organelles. Instead, their genetic material freely floats within the cell. This simplicity in structure is a testament to the ancient lineage of the Monera kingdom, tracing back to the very early stages of life on Earth. Now, if you're wondering how we know all this about something so tiny, the answer lies in a tool that has been instrumental in biological studies, the compound microscope. This device allows us to magnify these minuscule organisms to a level where we can observe them. It uses multiple lenses to enlarge the image of the specimen, shedding light on the microscopic world that is invisible to the naked eye. So in essence, the Monera kingdom is a realm of unicellular prokaryotic organisms, some of which are living in that drop of curd or buttermilk that you have in your kitchen. They may be invisible, but their impact on our world is anything but. In the next scene, you will learn how to observe these fascinating organisms under a microscope. So stick around and prepare to dive into the microscopic world of the Monera kingdom. You won't want to miss it. Ready to dive into the microscopic world of bacteria? Today, we're going to get up close and personal with the tiniest members of the Monera kingdom. And all you're going to need is a drop of curd or buttermilk, a clean glass slide, and a compound microscope. So here's what we'll do. First, we'll place a small drop of curd or buttermilk on the glass slide. Simple enough, right? But here's where the magic begins. We'll dilute our sample with just a touch of water. This ensures that our microorganisms have a bit of room to move around, allowing us to observe their behavior more accurately. Next, we'll carefully place a cover slip over our diluted sample. This is to protect our sample and keep everything contained while we're observing under the microscope. Remember, we're dealing with living organisms here, so we want to handle everything with care. Now, it's time for the exciting part, observation. We're going to observe our sample under high power of a compound microscope. And what do we see? Moving, small, rod-like microbes darting around. These are lactobacilli bacteria, a type of bacteria that's actually beneficial to us and is commonly found in fermented foods like curd and buttermilk. So there you have it. We've just observed the Monera kingdom in action. These organisms may be tiny, but they play a huge role in our world. From the lactobacilli bacteria in our curd to the blue-green algae in our oceans, the Monera kingdom is teeming with life. Remember, all organisms in this kingdom are unicellular. They could be autotrophic, making their own food, or heterotrophic, relying on other organisms for food. And these are prokaryotic cells, meaning they don't have a distinct nucleus or cell organelles. That was your first look at the Monera kingdom. Now, let's move on to another microscopic universe, the Protista kingdom. Have you ever pondered what's in a drop of pond water? Well, it's time to dive into the fascinating world of the Protista kingdom. This kingdom is a fascinating collection of some of the most unique and diverse life forms on Earth. Protists are an interesting group. They are eukaryotic organisms, which means their cells have a well-defined nucleus enclosed in a nuclear membrane. Unlike the other kingdoms, the Protista kingdom is a bit of a mixed bag. It's like the lost and found of the biological world, where organisms that don't quite fit into any other kingdom find their place. Protists can be quite versatile. Some are autotrophic, meaning they make their own food through photosynthesis, just like plants. Examples include Euglena and Volvox, which contain chloroplasts, the tiny factories where photosynthesis happens. On the other hand, some protists are heterotrophic. These are the ones that can't make their own food, so they have to eat other organisms or organic matter to survive. Amoeba and Paramecium are examples of heterotrophic protists. One of the most distinct features of protists is their means of moving around. They can use pseudopodia, which are temporary projections of the cell. It's like extending a part of their body to reach out and pull themselves forward. Some protists, like Paramecium, use tiny hair-like structures called cilia to move. Others, like Euglena, use a whip-like tail called a flagellum to propel themselves. The Protista kingdom is a testament to the diversity and adaptability of life. These tiny organisms show us that even within a single drop of pond water, there's a whole world waiting to be discovered. So as we wrap up our introduction to the Protista kingdom, remember that these intriguing organisms are far more complex than they first appear. From their diverse feeding habits to their innovative ways of moving around, protists are truly a marvel of nature. In the next scene, you will get a chance to observe these intriguing organisms under a microscope. So, stay tuned and prepare to be amazed. Are you ready to explore the microscopic world of protists? Well, let's get started. The first thing you'll need is a drop of pond water. This simple liquid is teeming with life, full of organisms that are too small to see with the naked eye. But with the help of a microscope, we can bring this unseen world into focus. To begin, carefully place 1 drop of pond water on a clean glass slide. It's important to use a small amount to avoid flooding the slide. Remember, we're dealing with organisms that are incredibly small, so a single drop contains more life than you might imagine. Next, gently lay a cover slip on top of the drop. This will flatten out the water and prevent it from evaporating, giving us a clear window into the microscopic world. Make sure to do this slowly and carefully to avoid creating any bubbles that could distort our view. Now it's time to bring in the microscope. Start with a low-power objective lens to get a broad view of the slide. You'll likely see a flurry of activity as countless tiny organisms dart about. Amidst this chaos, look for those with irregular shapes that move in a seemingly random manner. Those are our targets, the amoebae. Amoebae are fascinating creatures. They don't have a fixed shape, instead they extend and retract parts of their bodies to move and consume food. This process, called phagocytosis, is a wonder to behold under the microscope. Once you've found an amoeba, switch to the high-power lens to get a closer look. Observe how it changes shape and moves around. It's a tiny, single-celled organism, yet it's full of life and activity. And there you have it. You've just observed a member of the Protista kingdom, one of the many microscopic organisms that make up the vast tapestry of life on our planet. As you can see, even a single drop of water can hold a world of wonders. That was your journey into the Protista kingdom. The microscopic world is indeed a fascinating place, isn't it? So, what did we learn from our microscopic adventures? Let's take a moment to recap. We ventured into 2 fascinating kingdoms of life, Monera and Protista. Both are unique, filled with microscopic organisms that play crucial roles in our ecosystem. First, we delved into the kingdom Monera. Remember the tiny rod-like microbes we spotted in our curd sample? Those were lactobacilli bacteria, a type of Monera. The Monera kingdom is a diverse group that includes all types of bacteria and blue-green algae. These organisms are unicellular, meaning they are composed of just one cell. They don't have a distinct nucleus or cell organelles, marking them as prokaryotic. Some are autotrophic, creating their own food through photosynthesis, while others are heterotrophic, getting their nutrients from other organisms. Then we moved on to the kingdom Protista, where we met the amoebae in our pond water sample. Protists are also single-celled organisms, but unlike Monera, they have a well-defined nucleus enclosed in a nuclear membrane. This makes them eukaryotic. They move using a variety of methods: pseudopodia or false feet, hair-like cilia, or whip-like flagella. Like Monera, Protista also has autotrophs and heterotrophs. For example, Euglena and Volvox are autotrophs that contain chloroplasts, while amoeba and paramecium are heterotrophs. Our microscopic adventures gave us a glimpse into the complex world of these tiny but vital organisms. They may be small, but they have a big impact. They help us understand the diversity of life and how different life forms interact with each other and their environment. They also remind us that there is so much more to discover, so much more to learn. Remember, the world is full of wonders, and some of the most intriguing ones are just a microscope away. Keep exploring.
Have you ever wondered what that fuzzy stuff growing on your old bread is? Welcome, biology enthusiasts and curious minds alike, to a journey into the fascinating world of fungi. These incredible organisms, so often overlooked, are a kingdom all their own within the grand scheme of biological classification. They are non-green, eukaryotic, and heterotrophic, meaning they rely on organic substances for nutrition. Intriguing, isn't it? Most fungi are saprotrophs, feeding upon decaying organic matter, making them essential players in the circle of life. Their cell structure is unique, with walls made up of a tough, complex sugar called chitin. Many bear a thread-like appearance, with numerous nuclei present within their cytoplasm. We'll be delving deeper into the world of fungi in this video, even observing their growth up close. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed by these unseen heroes of the biological world. Let's discover the fascinating world of fungi together. To observe fungi in action, all you need is a piece of moist bread or bakri. Pretty simple, right? Let's break down the process. Start by taking a piece of bread or bakri. Make sure it's moist, as fungi thrive in damp environments. Next, place this piece in a container. Any container will do, but it's essential to have a lid. Why, you ask? Well, this helps create a sort of mini ecosystem, a perfect little world for our fungi friends to grow. Once the bread is in the container, secure the lid and put it aside. Patience is key here. We're talking about 2 to 3 days of waiting. Yes, it might seem like a long time, but remember, nature doesn't rush, yet everything is accomplished. During these 2 to 3 days, the fungi will start to grow. And you know what's exciting about this? You're creating the right conditions for life to flourish right there in your container. In a few days, you will witness a marvel of nature unfolding on a piece of bread. After waiting for a couple of days, it's time to check on our mini fungi farm. Now, what you'll notice is a fine cotton thread-like tuft that has begun to grow on the surface of the bread. This may not look like much, but it's actually a fascinating display of fungal growth. This tuft, which you might mistake for mold or some other form of decay, is actually the fruiting body of the fungi. Fungi are unique in that they grow and reproduce through these structures, which we call mycelium. The mycelium is composed of a network of tiny threads, or hyphae, which spread out across the bread, breaking down the organic matter and absorbing nutrients. Each of these hyphae is like a miniature highway, ferrying nutrients back and forth to support the growth and development of the fungus. It's an efficient and effective system, enabling fungi to thrive in a wide range of environments, from the loaf of bread in your kitchen to the forest floor. You might be wondering why we don't see the rest of the fungus. That's because most of it is hidden away, out of sight. The mycelium network extends deep into the bread, far beyond what we can see with the naked eye. It's there, in the dark, damp recesses of the bread, that the fungi does most of its work, breaking down and consuming the bread's organic matter. Now here's something to ponder. This cottony tuft, this tiny bit of fluff that you see on the bread, represents only a fraction of the actual fungus. The vast majority of it is hidden from view, silently and tirelessly working away beneath the surface. It's a sneak peek into the hidden world of fungi, a world that's as fascinating as it is essential to life as we know it. The cottony tuft you see is the visible part of the fungi, but there is much more than meets the eye. Now that we have our fungi, it's time to take a closer look. We've fostered a thriving fungal culture on our bread, and it's time to delve deeper into this mysterious kingdom. Our exploration is going to take us on a microscopic journey, and for this, we'll prepare a temporary mount of a few threads from our fungal culture. Preparing a temporary mount is not as daunting as it sounds. We need a microscope slide, a cover slip, and a drop of water. Carefully, we extract a few threads from our fungal culture. These threads, termed hyphae, are the basic building blocks of fungi. We place these hyphae on our slide, add a drop of water to prevent them from drying out, and then gently place our cover slip on top. This is our temporary mount, and it's ready to take us on a voyage into the world of fungi. Once we place our slide under the microscope, we enter a whole new world. The hyphae, which seemed like simple threads to our naked eye, now reveal their complex structure. They appear as long, slender tubes filled with flowing cytoplasm. This cytoplasm is teeming with life, carrying numerous nuclei along its length, a characteristic feature of many fungi. As we adjust the focus, we might even catch a glimpse of the cell walls. Unlike the cell walls of plants, these aren't made of cellulose. Instead, they're composed of a tough, complex sugar known as chitin. This gives fungi their robustness and resilience, enabling them to thrive in diverse environments. Our microscopic journey doesn't just reveal the structure of fungi, it also gives us an insight into their lifestyles. Fungi are heterotrophs, meaning they rely on organic material for nutrition. The hyphae we're observing play a crucial role in this, extending into the bread and breaking down its organic matter for the fungi to feed on. Under the microscope, the intricate details of the fungi come to life. Our humble bread has served as a gateway into the fascinating world of fungi, demonstrating the beauty and complexity that lies within these organisms. Our fungi are much more than just mold on bread. They are a diverse group with unique characteristics that truly set them apart from other life forms. Let's delve into the captivating world of fungi and explore their key traits. First off, fungi are non-green eukaryotic organisms. This means they don't contain chlorophyll, the pigment that gives plants their green color and enables photosynthesis. So how do fungi get their energy? Well, they're heterotrophic, which means they can't make their own food like plants do. Instead, they absorb nutrients from their surroundings. Many fungi are saprotrophs, which means they feed on decaying organic matter. They play an essential role in ecosystems by breaking down dead plants and animals and recycling their nutrients back into the soil. This decomposition process helps plants grow and thrive. Now let's talk about their structure. Fungi have a cell wall just like plants do, but there's a twist. Their cell wall is made up of a tough and complex sugar known as chitin. This is the same material that makes up the exoskeleton of insects and other arthropods. It gives fungi their rigid structure and protects them from environmental threats. Inside the cell, some fungi have a thread-like structure called hyphae, which are packed with many nuclei. These hyphae can grow and branch out, forming a network known as a mycelium. This mycelium expands through the substrate, absorbing nutrients and allowing the fungus to grow. In a nutshell, fungi are non-green eukaryotic heterotrophic organisms that feed on decaying organic matter. Their cell walls are composed of chitin, and they often have a thread-like structure with many nuclei. These characteristics make fungi one of the most fascinating kingdoms in the biological world. Their unique traits and roles in ecosystems highlight the diversity and complexity of life on Earth. So, the next time you see a mushroom or spot mold on bread, remember, you're looking at a member of an incredible kingdom of organisms that's full of surprises. Fungi are everywhere, from your bread to the soil, and even in some of your favorite foods. They are an integral part of our world, performing essential roles in ecosystems and contributing to human lifestyles in surprising ways. Let's start with baker's yeast, scientifically known as Saccharomyces cerevisiae. This humble fungus is a crucial player in the baking and brewing industries. It ferments the sugars in dough, releasing carbon dioxide, which gives your bread that fluffy, airy texture. Similarly, in beer and wine production, yeast ferments sugars into alcohol. Then there's Aspergillus, a genus of fungi that includes hundreds of species. One notable example is Aspergillus flavus, which grows on corn and other crops. While some Aspergillus species can be harmful, producing toxins, others are beneficial. Aspergillus niger, for example, is used in the production of citric acid, a key ingredient in many foods and beverages. Next, we have Penicillium, a genus you might recognize from the antibiotic penicillin. This revolutionary medicine, discovered by Alexander Fleming in the 20th century, was the first antibiotic and has saved countless lives. It's produced by a strain of Penicillium fungi, demonstrating the immense medical value of this fungal group. And of course, we can't forget about mushrooms, the fruiting bodies of certain fungi. Not only are many mushrooms edible and delicious, but they also play a crucial role in ecosystems. As decomposers, they break down organic matter, recycling nutrients back into the soil. Fungi are also used in bioremediation, a process that uses organisms to remove or neutralize pollutants from a contaminated site. Certain fungi can absorb and concentrate heavy metals, contributing to the cleanup of polluted environments. In sum, fungi are incredibly diverse and valuable. They're essential players in our ecosystems, key contributors to our food and drink, and even lifesavers in the realm of medicine. So the next time you see that fuzzy stuff growing on your old bread, remember you're looking at a member of an essential and fascinating kingdom of life.
Have you ever wondered how many types of microbes exist and how they are classified? Welcome to the unseen world of microbes, a realm teeming with life forms so tiny that they escape the naked eye. Yet their presence is undeniable and crucial to the existence of life as we know it. Microbes are the unseen majority, making up the lion's share of living organisms on our planet. These minuscule life forms are incredibly diverse, ranging from bacteria to fungi to protozoa, each with their unique characteristics and roles in the ecosystem. Their sizes vary from a single micrometer to 100 micrometers. To give you a sense of scale, a micrometer is 1/1,000,000th of a meter, while a nanometer is 1/1,000,000,000th of a meter. The world is a testament to the immense diversity and adaptability of life. It's a world that's constantly evolving, and every bit as fascinating as the macroscopic world we're more familiar with. Now, let's dive into the fascinating world of microbes, starting with bacteria. First up, we have bacteria, ranging from 1 micrometer to 10 micrometers in size. Let's dive into the fascinating world of bacteria, the pioneers of life. These organisms are as tiny as they are powerful. Bacteria are unicellular, meaning they consist of a single cell. But don't let their small size fool you. Each bacterium is a complete organism, capable of performing all life functions. Bacteria fall under the category of prokaryotes. This term may sound complex, but it essentially tells us that their cellular structure is simple. They have a cell wall, but unlike our own cells, they lack a distinct nucleus or other specialized compartments called organelles. The genetic material in bacteria is not enclosed within a nuclear membrane, but rather floats freely inside the cell. Now let's talk about how they reproduce. Bacteria multiply by a process called binary fission. In this process, a single bacterium splits into two. Each new bacterium is a clone of the original, carrying the same genetic material. This simple method of reproduction allows bacteria to multiply at an astonishing rate. In favorable conditions, bacteria can double their number in as little as 20 minutes. Imagine in just 20 minutes, one bacterium can become two can become four, and so on. Bacteria are incredibly adaptable and can be found in a wide range of environments, from the depths of the ocean to the highest mountain peaks, from the coldest Arctic ice to the hottest volcanic vents. They are even present within our own bodies, playing essential roles in our health and digestion. So, while bacteria might be microscopic, they have a macroscopic impact. They were among the first life forms on Earth and have shaped our planet's history in countless ways. From paving the way for life on Earth to being present in our own bodies, bacteria play a vital role in our ecosystem. Scene script. Next, we explore protozoa, the unicellular organisms with a size of approximately 200 micrometers. Diving into the world of protozoa, we find them in an array of habitats. These tiny life forms can be found in soil, freshwater, and seawater, while some have even made homes in the bodies of other organisms, where they can be pathogenic. What sets protozoa apart is their eukaryotic cell structure. Unlike their bacterial counterparts, protozoa are unicellular organisms with a complex cellular organization. They possess a well-defined nucleus and other specialized cellular machinery, which contribute to their diverse range of functions and capabilities. This diversity extends to their cell structure, organs of locomotion, and modes of nutrition. In fact, the variety among protozoa is truly astounding. Some move using whip-like flagella, others with hair-like cilia, and some even change their body shape to move, like our well-known friend the amoeba. And when it comes to their meals, protozoa are equally versatile, with some species feeding on bacteria or other protozoa, while others are content with organic matter.
Just as diverse as their forms and feeding habits are their methods of reproduction. While they usually reproduce by simple cell division, some species also have complex life cycles involving multiple stages and hosts. Now, let's look at a few examples of these fascinating organisms. Amoeba and Paramecium are free-living protozoa often found in dirty water. Then there's Entamoeba histolytica, a parasitic protozoa that causes amoebiasis, a type of dysentery. Another infamous protozoa is Plasmodium vivax, the culprit behind malaria. On the brighter side, we have Euglena, a protozoa that's autotrophic, meaning it can make its own food like plants. Protozoa, with their diverse forms and functions, offer a fascinating glimpse into the microworld. So next time you're near a water body or simply out in the garden, remember, there's a whole world of protozoa buzzing with life right under your nose. Finally, let's delve into the world of fungi, with sizes ranging from 10 micrometers to 100 micrometers. Fungi represent an astonishingly diverse group of organisms, found in nearly every habitat on Earth, from the Antarctic to the tropics. Most notably, they are the masters of decomposition, breaking down organic matter and returning vital nutrients to the soil. Fungi are eukaryotic organisms, meaning they have complex cells with a nucleus and other organelles. Some fungi are unicellular, like the yeast used in baking and brewing, while others form large, visible structures, like the mushrooms you might find sprouting in a forest or on your pizza. One distinguishing characteristic of fungi is their mode of nutrition. They are saprotrophs, which means they feed by absorbing nutrients from decaying organic matter. They release enzymes that break down dead plants and animals into simpler compounds, which they then absorb. This process is vital for the recycling of nutrients in ecosystems. Now let's talk about reproduction. Fungi are incredibly versatile in this aspect. They can reproduce both sexually and asexually, depending on the conditions. Asexual reproduction often involves the formation of spores, which can be spread by wind or water. When conditions are harsh, some fungi may reproduce sexually, combining genetic material to create offspring with greater genetic diversity. Let's consider some examples to illustrate the diverse roles fungi play. First, we have baker's yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, a unicellular fungus used for centuries in bread making. Then there's Candida, another type of yeast, which lives harmlessly on our skin, but can cause infections if it grows out of control. And of course, we can't forget mushrooms. These fungi produce the fruiting bodies we often see sprouting from the ground or decaying logs, playing a vital role in breaking down organic matter and recycling nutrients back into the soil. From the baker's yeast in our bread to the mushrooms in our soup, fungi are an integral part of our lives. They are the silent workers, tirelessly breaking down organic matter and keeping our ecosystems running smoothly. So next time you enjoy a slice of bread or a bowl of mushroom soup, take a moment to appreciate the fungi that made it all possible. So, we have journeyed through the microbial universe, exploring bacteria, protozoa, and fungi. We've discovered that bacteria, these unicellular organisms, may live independently or as parasites and can double their number in just 20 minutes under favorable conditions. We've learned about protozoa, organisms that show a great variety in their cell structure and modes of nutrition, found in diverse environments from soil to seawater. And we've delved into the world of fungi, the decomposers that feed on decaying organic matter and can be found everywhere from your favorite slice of bread to the forest floor. Each of these groups of microbes, though tiny, plays a crucial role in maintaining the balance of our ecosystem. They are involved in everything from recycling nutrients to aiding digestion and fighting diseases. Remember, though invisible to the naked eye, these microbes play a colossal role in our world. So, the next time you enjoy a slice of bread or fight off a cold, remember the tiny, mighty microbes.
Have you ever wondered about the microscopic world of algae and viruses? Dive with us into the vibrant universe of algae, aquatic life forms that range in size from roughly 10 millimeters to 100 millimeters. These eukaryotic organisms are quite unique. They can be unicellular, like the chlorella and chlamydomonas species. But don't be fooled, these are the exceptions. Most algae species are multicellular and visible to the naked eye. Now you might be asking, what makes these organisms so special? Well, let's delve a bit deeper. Algae are autotrophic, meaning they have the ability to produce their own food. They achieve this through a process we're all quite familiar with, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, the process of converting light energy into chemical energy, is carried out by a special organelle present in the algae's cells, the chloroplast. Chloroplasts are like little green factories, tirelessly working to transform sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water into glucose, which provides the algae with the energy they need to grow and reproduce. Imagine that! An organism that can feed itself simply by basking in the sunlight, much like a plant. In fact, algae's ability to photosynthesize is so effective, they are responsible for nearly half of the world's photosynthetic activity. That's right, these microscopic beings are major players in our planet's oxygen production. But algae's role doesn't stop there. They are the base of many aquatic food chains, providing sustenance to a wide range of creatures, from tiny zooplankton to massive whales. Algae are also used by humans for various purposes, including as a source of nutrition, in cosmetics, and even as biofuel. So that's our introduction to the fascinating world of algae. But what about viruses? Are they similar or completely different? Stay tuned to find out. Now let's dive into the intriguing world of viruses. Viruses are fascinating entities that challenge our understanding of life itself. Their size ranges from approximately 10 to 100 nanometers, making them extremely minute. In fact, they are 10 to 100 times smaller than bacteria. This minuscule size means they can only be seen with an electron microscope. These tiny entities occupy a unique position in biology. They are often described as organisms at the edge of living and non-living. This is because, unlike other living organisms, they can't carry out their life processes on their own. They require a host to survive and reproduce. This intriguing nature of viruses has led to their study under a specialized branch of biology known as microbiology. Let's delve a bit deeper into the structure of a virus. Independent virus particles, often referred to as virions, consist of a long molecule of either deoxyribonucleic acid, known as DNA, or ribonucleic acid, referred to as RNA. This genetic material is encased in a protective coat of protein. This protein coat or capsid plays a crucial role in protecting the virus and aiding in its invasion of host cells. Viruses are obligate parasites. This means they can only survive and reproduce within the cells of a living host. Once inside a host cell, they take over the cell's machinery to produce their proteins and replicate their genetic material. As they multiply, they often end up destroying the host cell, releasing new virus particles that are ready to infect more cells. The world of viruses is a world of tiny invaders that exploit their hosts for their survival and reproduction. They may be small, but they have a significant impact on life on Earth, from the smallest bacteria to the largest mammals. Viruses are tiny invaders that can only survive in living cells. But what happens when they infect a host? In this section, we'll explore the life cycle of a virus. Imagine viruses as tiny, uninvited guests that crash into the cells of their unsuspecting hosts. But these aren't your typical party crashers. They're incredibly tiny, even smaller than bacteria. In fact, you'd need an electron microscope to get a good look at them. Once inside a host cell, a virus gets right to work. It's on a mission to reproduce, and it needs the host cell's machinery to do so. The virus injects its genetic material, which could be either DNA or RNA, into the host cell. This is like a blueprint, instructing the host cell to produce the proteins the virus needs. In essence, the virus hijacks the host cell, turning it into a virus factory. The host cell, under the virus's control, starts to churn out more and more viruses. This goes on until the host cell is filled to the brim with viral replicas. But the virus isn't done yet. Its next move is a bit grim. The virus triggers the host cell to burst open, releasing all the newly minted viruses. This is the end of the line for the host cell. It's destroyed in the process. Now, these new viruses are free to infect other cells and start the process all over again. This is how a virus proliferates, moving from cell to cell, spreading throughout the host organism. It's fascinating, isn't it? This life cycle of a virus, from invasion to replication and finally destruction of the host cell, is a testament to nature's intricate design. Even these microscopic entities, which teeter on the edge of life and non-life, have their own complex ways of ensuring their survival. As you can see, viruses have a unique and complex life cycle. But what kind of diseases can they cause? Viruses are notorious for the diseases they cause. Let's find out more. These microscopic invaders have a penchant for wreaking havoc in the biological world. Viruses cause a myriad of diseases, affecting not just humans, but also animals and plants. In humans, viruses are the culprits behind some of the most feared and widespread diseases. The poliovirus, for instance, attacks the nervous system, leading to paralysis in some cases. The influenza virus is another notorious offender, causing seasonal flu outbreaks that can turn into pandemics, affecting millions worldwide. And then there's the HIV virus, perhaps one of the most well-known viruses, which causes AIDS, a disease that severely weakens the immune system. But humans aren't the only ones at the mercy of these microscopic marauders. Cattle, for example, can fall prey to the picornavirus. This virus can cause foot and mouth disease, a highly contagious and destructive disease that has led to massive livestock losses in the past. And let's not forget about our leafy friends. Plants, too, can fall victim to viral diseases. The tomato wilt virus, for example, can cause wilting and yellowing of tomato plants, leading to significant losses in crop yield. And the tobacco mosaic virus, a well-studied plant virus, causes a mosaic-like pattern on tobacco leaves, stunting growth and decreasing crop quality. Even bacteria, which themselves can cause diseases, aren't immune to viral attacks. Bacteriophages are viruses that specifically target bacteria, hijacking their cellular machinery to replicate and ultimately destroy the bacterial cell. Viruses can cause a wide range of diseases, making them a significant concern for health and agriculture. But who is studying these infectious agents? From humans to cattle, from tomatoes to tobacco, viruses don't discriminate in their targets. Their ability to cause disease makes them formidable foes. But rest assured, there are dedicated professionals who spend their lives studying these infectious agents, working tirelessly to understand them better and find ways to combat them. So, who exactly are these researchers? Stay tuned to find out. Scene script. Let's take a closer look at how viruses are studied at the National Institute of Virology, Pune. Situated in the bustling city of Pune, in the heart of India, stands the National Institute of Virology. Since its establishment in the year 1952, this prestigious institution has been a beacon of research and knowledge in the field of virology. The National Institute of Virology operates under the jurisdiction of the Indian Council of Medical Research, a body renowned for its contribution to the world of medical science. The primary role of the institute is to conduct in-depth research on various types of viruses. This research is critical in understanding these microscopic entities that teeter on the edge of the living and non-living world. The institute's work goes beyond just studying viruses. It plays a crucial role in diagnosing viral diseases that are of public health importance. It also aids in monitoring the pattern and spread of viral infections in the community, contributing significantly to the global efforts in disease control and prevention. A myriad of viruses, from those causing diseases in humans such as polio, influenza, and HIV, to those infecting cattle and plants, are all subjects of study at this institute. The institute's research has helped in understanding these viruses' life cycles, how they infect host cells, replicate, and cause disease, eventually leading to the development of effective treatments and preventive measures. The National Institute of Virology also stands as a symbol of India's contribution to the global scientific community. Its work in the field of virology has not only benefited the people of India, but has also had a global impact, aiding in the collective fight against viral diseases. The Institute's relentless pursuit of knowledge and its unwavering commitment to research are testament to the importance of scientific inquiry in our world today. The National Institute of Virology, Pune, is indeed a shining example of how diligent research can help us understand and combat the microscopic world of viruses. And that wraps up our journey into the microscopic world of algae and viruses. We hope you found it as fascinating as we have.